Hi, welcome back. This week I'd like you to watch a video with Jennifer Goldbeck. Goldbeck is a computer scientist at the University of Maryland, and she's written several books about social media, including Analyzing the Social Web and Computing with Social Trust. She's also written several articles for online magazines like Slate.com. I think you can also think of Goldbeck as a social activist. She's on a mission to develop new methods for protecting the personal data of social media users. With her background in computer science, Goldbeck is able to see how corporations are collecting personal data from our mobile devices and then using that information in their marketing strategies. Be sure and let me know what you think of the video in this week's class forum. I've also included a short quiz over some of the topics that Goldbeck discusses in her presentation. This week I also want you to continue experimenting with CSS and find more ways to apply styles to an HTML document. So far we've looked at how to change the look of text, the width of a page, and how to add a background color. We've also seen that there are a wide variety of options for each of these properties that you can define in a style sheet. Styles can also be used to arrange the content of your page. For example, your style sheet can instruct a browser where to place a navigation bar, or where to place a special section with related links, or even where to place the main content of your page. In this week's Dreamweaver assignment, I'm going to ask you to change the location of the navigation area in our Bayside Beat web page. By defining certain properties in the style sheet, we can tell a browser to locate these links anywhere on the page. As you've probably seen on a lot of websites, links are often located in a vertical column on the left and right sides of the page. So let's try moving our links from the top of the page over to the left side. If you're using the Creative Cloud version of Dreamweaver, you'll be creating these style instructions with the CSS Designer tool. If you're using the CS6 version of Dreamweaver, you'll be working in the CSS Styles window. For specific instructions using CS6 style sheets, see the additional video listed below. First, let's take a look at the CSS Designer tool. Before I begin, I'll make sure that my external style sheet appears in the All Sources box at the top, and I have clicked and highlighted the file name. Next, I'll place my cursor in the area I want to move. As you can see in the HTML code, the links on this page are located in a div tag called main nav. So I'll click inside the starting div tag for that section. Notice that Dreamweaver recognizes the tag I selected by listing it under Selectors. Now it's time to explore some options in the Properties section. The layout icon here will give me the options I need for moving things around on a page. Notice that the current width of our main nav section is set to Auto, which means that the navigation area is set to extend across the entire width of the page. I want my navigation area to be much more narrow, so I can place it along the left side. So I'll change the width to something smaller, like 200 pixels. I also want my navigation area to extend vertically down the left side of the page. So I'll change the height to 1200 pixels. Notice in the design view that the navigation area is now 200 pixels wide, and it extends down the left side of the page, just as I wanted. But something's wrong. The article and photos are now at the bottom of the page. And that's because I haven't included instructions in my style sheet that tell a browser that I want both the navigation area and the article to appear side by side. So I'll do this by adding a property called float to the navigation section of the page. This will tell a browser to keep my navigation area either to the far left or to the far right. Notice the icons here for selecting float left, float right, or none. I'll select Float Left. Now take a look at the page in Design View, and you can see that the navigation area and the main article are side by side. Keep in mind that there are a variety of different properties that we can apply to this navigation area. For example, I would prefer the links to be a different font, and I'm not sure if I like the bullet beside each link. So let's go into the CSS Designer and see if we can make these changes. With the main nav tag selected, start looking through the properties options listed here. I'll select the text icon first and change the font. Keep in mind that you can enter a font name yourself directly into this box, as long as you know the correct name and spelling. I think I'll use Verdana, and I'll set the font size to small. There, that's much better. Now let's see what we can do about the bullets. First, let's go to our HTML document and place our cursor inside the UL tag that appears just before the links. By the way, UL stands for Unordered List, and by default, a browser will add bullets to each item in that list, unless we tell it otherwise. So let's do that now. Go to the Selector section and click the plus sign to add the UL tag. Then click Enter. In the Type section, look for List Style Type, and then change this to None. There, that did the job. And notice in the style sheet that Dreamweaver has added special instructions that tells a browser not to apply the default bullet style to our links. As you can see, the choices we have are nearly endless for positioning items on a page and then adding properties to change the look of that specific area. This week, as you continue experimenting with the Bayside Beat web page, try moving the navigation area to another location on the page, just as I did earlier using the float properties. Keep in mind that you might need to change the width and height of certain sections just to make everything fit together. I'd also like you to experiment with the list properties for changing the look and behavior of your navigation links. After you've made some of these revisions, please submit a copy of your HTML document to me for grading. I promise that by next week, you'll have a chance to start building your own web page where you can decide for yourself how that page should look. So until then, have a good week, and I'll see you next time.